So this is a clinic group.
Okay.
We have clinic every Tuesday and Thursday. For each patient that attend, we fill out a patient file, and all the entries in the patient file need to match the posters on the wall, as those are drop-down lists on the database. Very often, if somebody doesn't know exactly which bomb blew their leg off, they can normally point to a picture of it, and that helps our data for UXO now. This is a mechanical hand with a harness that's attached to the contralateral shoulder, so they open it by excursion of the shoulder. It's a self-closing mechanical hand. But then we also deal with things not related to UXO, spinal injuries, scoliosis, cerebral palsy, polio, leprosy, everything that you get also in developed countries and more. So when we've decided what the patient needs, we take a plaster cast of the body part which is affected. This is a cast for a spinal jacket, if somebody's had a road traffic accident. That cast is then filled with plaster of Paris, and then this bit's taken off the outside, so we get a positive model. This is a patient who's had an amputation above the knee, so this is a stump that's left. And then that is rectified, so that the patient can take weight on areas where they're pressure tolerant and relieve weight from areas which are pressure sensitive, such as over the cut bones and over the nerves which are close to the surface of the skin. And then we go through to the workshop.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find something. So when we've got the finished cast that's been all smoothed off and rectified, we take a big sheet of plastic, put it in the oven, heat it up so it becomes all soft, and then drape it over the cast and switch on the vacuum pump so it's vacuum formed. Then that has to cool before it can be cut away. It has to cool completely. And then the plaster inside is chipped out. And we've got the beginnings of a device. An adult leg, a couple of spinals, one's for a small child actually with cerebral palsy, and that's going to be an adult ankle foot orthosis. So this is a prosthetics workshop. We've got the socket, so this bit is made from the raw material which has been draped, and then we build up the components onto the bottom. The feet are made of compressed rubber with a polypropylene keel, and all these sections are made out of recycled polypropylene from the waste offcuts. The knee sections are also made here. This bit's out of recycled polypropylene, and the shin tubes made locally. And the knee joist. It's just a free knee. No stance phase control like we have in the UK, but it can be locked. And then once the alignment is all correct, the walking changes slightly as they get better. So we change the alignment as the patient improves their walking. And then once it's perfect, it's finished with a cosmetic outer covering. Right, I can find one that's finished. This is an old one of somebody's, but that's got its complete covering on. That's an above the knee one. That's the below knee without its cosmetic covering on. So the patient learns to walk with it like that, and then once it's all correctly aligned, it gets its cosmetic covering on the outside. Orthotics is anything applied to the body externally which supports an existing body part, whereas a prosthesis replaces a missing body part. So in here we have the spinal jackets, mainly for spinal injuries caused by road traffic accidents or people falling out of trees, coconut trees, fruit trees. This is a knee brace for a patient who currently walks holding his knee extended. He's been affected by polio, and he walks like that. If he doesn't hold his knee extended, it collapses. So the brace will just replace his hand when he's walking. Those are club feet. So this bit represents the patient's natural foot, and then we just put a normal looking foot on the bottom of it to make it look more cosmetic, especially if they're wearing wide trousers. Patients can have surgery to straighten their own feet if they want that, but they're then left with a very rigid, dysfunctional foot, which can be more painful than their existing club foot condition. If we get a child come to clinic early enough, ideally within the first year of life, we can fully correct this position so they're left with a functional foot for the rest of their life. Once they're older, it's much more difficult to correct. This is a machine shop where we smooth down all the edges, make sure they're nice and smooth and comfortable for the patient to wear. This is a polypropylene, which is our main raw material. It's our most expensive outlay at around $25 a sheet. But as I say, all the offcuts, they get recycled to using injection moulding to make the components which make up the linens. So this is the injection moulding room. All the offcuts get put in here and come out like this, and chipped. Those then get put into the top of the injection moulder and injection moulded in the moulds and come out as components to make up the limbs. So these make up the alignment systems. They're infinitely adjustable. These are orthotic ankle joints. We also have D-rings for straps. The Velcro strap goes through there and back in. These are for the above knees. Knee unit goes onto there. Got ankle pieces, knee units, shin tubes. So they're all made out of the recycled polypropylene. This is where the patients learn to walk. They start off in the parallel bars when they're fairly unsteady. They then very quickly progress onto the flat ground. And then before they go home, they have to be able to do the rough ground, steps, swing bridge, slopes in both directions. How quickly the patient learns to walk is very much dependent on them, depends on their age, what level their amputation is. It can be from anything from 3-4 days to 3-4 months to be able to be proficient enough to go home.